All right. Welcome back to New to Hill Country. We're here today with Mandi. I want to say, let me see if I can get Jakubowski. Jakubowski. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. And she is the owner of
Lone Star Bath Treats.
Great. And just for people that have been listening to the show for a while, if you're looking for a video format, we're not doing a video format anymore because it seemed like more people listen. Let me know if you have some feedback on that and you feel like we should go back to having the video format. We can do that. Before we get into talking with Mandi a little bit, just talk about sponsors for our podcast real briefly. Element, electrolyte mix. I think a lot of you who've been listening for a while already know a lot about that. It's just such a great product for hitting hydration needs in a short period of time. I feel like I'd be lost without it. And then SBG Texas Martial Arts and Yoga School. Kaylee, anything you want to say about what we do here?
So we provide jiu-jitsu classes for adults and kids. We have a wonderful kids program called Growing Gorillas. We just briefly introduced to you a little bit, but we basically use martial arts to help kids become a better human being. And it's really fun. A lot of activities that have hidden jiu-jitsu moves and techniques. Kids love it. And there are lots of life skills and values and character building that really incorporate in the curriculum that the kids really take to it, and we see the difference after weeks and after months, which really gives us a strong sense of pride and joy. We also have a great jiu-jitsu program for adults, starting with foundation. So anybody, regardless of their age, their physical condition, or their lack of experience, they can just join anytime and they can just start learning what jiu-jitsu is. And it's really practical. I really like how I can use that technique that I learn in class as a small woman. Just I can easily see how applicable that is. So great program.
And Keely's only been going after you haven't had even a year in jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You're just like not quite a full year in jiu-jitsu, and just come along so far. Anyways, enough about us. More about Mandi. So, Mandi, tell us about your relationship with Hill Country. Are you new to Hill Country like us? Have you been here for a long time, or just
So I actually moved here from Houston when I was about in the 3rd grade. So I have been here in New Braunfels for 30 years now at least. So we're from the area. My parents live out in Canyon Lake. I have a brother in Canyon Lake who moved here from California about 5 or 10 years ago. I have another brother in Wimberley, so we're all pretty close to here. I come from a really big family, so we're kind of spread out a little bit. My sister passed away, but she lived in Canyon Lake too. So we do have a strong family foundation here. My ex-husband and children still live here as well. So, I have a great, strong family base here, which is really nice.
Cool. What do you like about this area?
My favorite thing is that even though we're growing, and New Braunfels has changed so much, just even in the last 5 years, the biggest thing that I like is it still has that small town feel. You go to the grocery store and it's, here, let me help you with that. You go to a restaurant and service is impeccable. People still pay attention to the little details that you don't always get in a big city.
Sure.
I totally agree.
I hear that.
Yeah, that's the experience.
We're very anti-big city.
We're from a big city, so.
Yeah, she's born and raised in the big old city.
Right, so I love this small town vibe.
I love that every weekend there's something going on, whether it's the farmer's market or an event in Green or there's a vendor show, there's some small event going on. Even Harley, even though Harley's a big company, they support so many different small businesses in town. They have shows, they have events, they're doing charity runs, they're doing all sorts of things. So I love the fact that there's always something to do with the kids or the family, and you're not inside on electronics.
Right.
Totally.
And I feel like, it comes up so much, but, from, May to as late as the end of October, you can pretty much be on the river like through that whole period, and it's just amazing and fantastic. I don't know. When people come to visit, that's like I have to take them to the river, because it's just, to me, it makes the whole thing come together, kind of.
My mom's rule growing up was it had to be 80 degrees 3 days in a row. And once it was 80 degrees 3 days in a row, we could hit the river, we could hit the pool, we could hit whatever. Now, the water was still probably pretty cold, but that was kind of her rule. Once it hit 80 for 3 days, you were good to go.
I see. That's a pretty cool rule.
That can go, but that could be November,
Right.
For anyone listening outside of this area, it's like that could be, December, basically.
Christmas,
I have a bit of a habit of kind of mocking. I'm from Iowa originally, so I have a bit of I kind of tease my dad all the time with like temperatures and stuff like that. It's like, oh, it's 85 degrees, it's December 22nd, how are things up in Iowa? Ooh, negative 20. Okay, enjoy. I'm trying to tease him into moving down here, but we'll see. I don't think it's not going to happen, but I just like to tease him, so it's just our relationship. How, tell us a little bit about what you do,
So for a lot of people don't know, but my background's actually in 911 services. So I was a paramedic and a firefighter, and then after that, I was in law enforcement, and I worked in corrections. I finished out my career in probation. So I did juvenile probation for a number of years, had a family, and at that point, the law enforcement lifestyle was not the best for raising small kids. So when my kids were born, I have Irish twins, so they are 11 months apart. But they should have been biological twins. But when
I've never heard. Can we pause for a second? I have never heard of this. So please,
ignorance.
Forgive my ignorance, but yes, please extrapolate.
So Irish twins are siblings born within a year of each other. So they're born within a year.
They call that. Oh wow.
They call it Irish twins. So they are thicker than thieves. Everyone assumes that they are pretty much biological twins. They're roughly the same size, same weight. My son's a little bit taller than my daughter, but they're great.
Wow. So cool.
So there's not a big gap between you and
my sister. Actually,
you might be Irish twins.
I'm
gonna start calling you guys Irish twins. I never heard that expression.
When they were little, people would ask all the time, "Oh, are they twins?" Because especially around that 2 to 3 age range, they looked so similar to each other.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a really cool. I had never heard that expression. That's really cool.
That's a southern
Irish
thing,
twins.
I guess.
Irish twins. I've never heard of it before.
Yeah. Because, and it surprised me as well, your last name to me sounds totally Polish.
It's very Polish.
Yeah, so anything with a ski on the end, I hear Polish right away.
Yes, it is. Yeah. My ex-husband's Polish, and gotcha. Very Polish.
Cool.
And so anyways, I had a background in law enforcement. While working in EMS, we took a lot of classes on homeopathic things and not always jumping into pushing a medication but trying, procedures and pressure points and trying things that would work until you could get to a hospital or a doctor that weren't as invasive or chemically dependent. And I loved that. I think that EMS has gone a long way in the last 20 years compared to what it was when I first started. But when the twins were born, when each of them was born, they were both very early. Our son was born at 32 weeks. Our daughter was born at around 35 weeks, almost 36 weeks. So they were early. So when we were using shampoos, we were using washes, we were using things, we couldn't use anything with dyes or chemicals or harsh perfumes. And the hardest thing that I found as a parent was, if you wanted to go organic, if you wanted to go clean, if you wanted to go friendly, then you were spending $30 and $40 on something, and you couldn't find it locally. We were having great luck at the farmers markets on finding goat's milk soaps. We were finding essential oil groups, but I couldn't find actual bath products. So I started making my own.
Wow.
Sweet.
So we started making salt scrubs. We started making bath bombs. Because what little kid doesn't want to play with a bath bomb?
Right.
Sure.
And you can't go, sorry, I can't let you play with these because you're going to have a yeast issue. You're going to have an asthma issue. You're going to have a lung issue. So I started making my own. And here we are, almost 6 years later. We opened a storefront in the middle of COVID.
We sympathize, but yeah, we opened a gym in the middle of days before the lockdown. So
yeah, we opened and we occupied in May and we opened our doors in June.
Oh, wow.
So it was pretty crazy. We still are at the farmers market every Saturday. Mm-hmm. It's kind of one of those, we started there and I love the interaction with the people. So I don't think that that's something that's ever going to go away for us. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy being out there and taking new products and getting the opinions of the people. You know, hey, this is something new we're thinking and trying. What do you think? And people love it or they hate it. And we put it in the store if it does well. We started wholesaling back in August. So we're now in 11 boutiques across the state.
Sweet.
Which is really kind of nice.
That's huge.
Including tattoo parlors.
Oh, okay.
So tattoo parlors have started noticing that they don't want to put chemicals on something that they just did.
That makes sense.
So they're reaching out to us. We use a non-nanite technology, and we're actually using an organic and clean form of tattoo balm and color enhancer and things of that nature. So we actually reach a large demographic.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Wow. You said something like nanite.
Non-nanite.
Nanite. Okay, tell me more.
So the great thing about our tattoo bombs is some of the things that you buy, like the A&D ointment, they have chemicals in them, and they have processed versions of vitamins and processed versions of like the minerals and things that you're putting on your skin. It's we still use a pharmaceutical grade product, but it's an organic line, so it doesn't have all of that extra wax and chemical and buildup in it. So when you're using our tattoo balm, it's actually going to be lighter and more breathable to help your skin heal naturally and moisturize on its own.
Okay. Cool.
Which is really good. And it works great for your split ends too, just saying.
Cool.
We did launch our men's line this summer, so that's kind of fun. We're doing beard oils now.
Okay.
We're doing beard balms. We have a branded straight razor now and a shave kit, so we're starting to branch into that line as well.
Straight razors where you open it up almost like a switchblade and kind of go. I always feel like a little scared of that, but yeah, it's cool. There's definitely something to say for the style of that. It's
trust. There's a lot of trust. Right. The nice thing about our kits is that they come with the razor, the straps, the balm, the oil. So it's an all-inclusive kit. Or if you just need to purchase to refill, you can do that as well. We're using badger hair brushes. So again, good quality brushes that are not going to hurt the skin. They're not going to be trapping chemicals and product in them. The brushes will last you 10 years as long as you take care of them. It's great.
Interesting.
It's fun.
Cool. What are some of the negative side effects? Like, so you're talking about kind of going chemical free, like certain processed chemicals you don't want in your products. What do you feel are some of the stronger outcomes people can have when they're using the more typical products that are available on the market? What do you feel the outcomes are, and what are we trying to avoid essentially? So.
One of the biggest things we hear, especially from parents, is, well, my child has eczema, or my daughter gets yeast infections, or they're running into issues, or, hey, I bought this great bath bomb at XYZ at the mall, but there's glitter all over my bathtub and now it's clogging up my drains.
I see.
So by us using edible grade products that are going to dissolve, they're going to be friendly. You're not damaging your septic. You're not damaging your pipes and plumbing. And if you are damaging those things by using the ones that you get kind of commercially made or made overseas, that's going into your body.
Sure.
So you kind of have to think of, if it's going to destroy your house, do you really want to put that on your skin?
Sure.
We are getting a lot of positive feedback as far as using it with children who have eczema, who have asthma, reactive airway disease, or RAD, that this is the first time that their child or their teenager has been able to use something that they haven't been able to use. So it's kind of nice that they have a birthday party or they're at a friend's house. Hey, check out this. It's a bubble bath. It's a bath bomb. It's a salt scrub. That they can feel part of whatever their group is doing and not have to be isolated or kept from that. It's kind of an inclusion factor as well.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. Really cool.
We do have a really cool product called unicorn poop.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, I know. We went there. We have mermaid farts and unicorn poop.
Oh, wow.
So
Totally understand the kids.
Yes,
minds.
it's a kid mentality. But they are crushed bath bombs, basically, that come in a large tube. Our mermaid farts has an edible glitter base in it, and then our unicorn poop does not have glitter in it. But we've actually been working with a few assisted livings and people who have parents or relatives with not mental health issues, but mental impairment, so dementia, Alzheimer's, those kinds of things. The soap can actually be put in a basin, it can be put in a shower or in a bathtub, and it changes color. So what we're finding is, for example, you could put your dad, sit him down, put his feet in a warm tub of water, have him pour it in the top. While it's changing color, it actually oxygenates and carbonates the water. So he gets a nice feel to it, improves circulation. But we use an unfiltered olive oil base into the powder, so it moisturizes naturally. But by it changing color and bubbling, he gets focus. So now you're able to soak his feet, moisturize, and improve circulation longer.
I see.
Than if you were just trying to do it if he was in the tub.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of a neat product that we have, and kids love it too.
Yeah.
Unicorn poop.
Yeah, I think we'll have to pick up some unicorn poop for
How do you come
kids.
up with that kind of ideas? Like, tell us a little bit about like your product development process. Like, you have these ideas, and how did you turn those ideas into actual products?
So we started very small with our soap base and our salt scrubs. And then it was, my kids were getting older, and they were, hey mom, I want to use a bath bomb. Well, then I was running into the same problem. So then I had to experiment with bath bombs. If you've never made bath bombs, it is a process. And if you don't do it, it's like baking. If you don't do it just right, it's not going to work.
It's like chemistry.
Oh, yes.
It's like the right portion, right ratio.
The humidity has to be a certain way. The temperature has to be a certain way. If you don't have those things, they just crush and fall apart. So unicorn poop came into existence because what was happening is I would have bombs that would crush or break. And so I would just pour them into jars. Well, then you'd end up with layers of color.
Oh, wow.
And I was going, Well, we started using it at markets to demonstrate what our bombs did, how they looked, how they smelled. Well, then people loved it. And they're like, well, can I buy a tube of that? And I'm like, sure. So then that's how unicorn poop kind of happened.
Wow. It's brilliant.
And I asked my daughter, she's actually the one who named it. I said, what do you think about this? She goes, it looks like a unicorn pooped in the water. And then it kind of stuck.
Oh, wow. That is brilliant.
And out of the mouth of babes, they say, right? So that's how it happened. And with our salt scrubs, we go seasonally. So right now we just brought back our honeysuckle because we're getting closer to spring. With Valentine's Day, we brought back cherry blossom and rosewood and lavender. So we're doing a lot of our more earthy smells right now for spring. In our men's line, we do a deep ocean, a teak and mahogany. We're kind of doing a Wild West named theme right now. So we have Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp. And
fun.
Our lawmen and Irishmen. So those are kind of cool.
I'm your huckleberry. So,
Yep.
yeah.
And it actually has huckleberry in it.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Interesting. That's fantastic.
But we're finding that not only do the men like our men's line, but a lot of women like our men's line. We do 2 different types of a bourbon scrub. So we do, we cook the alcohol out, so there is no alcohol in it, so it's not going to hurt your skin, dry or dehydrate. But you get these beautiful oak bourbon notes, and then we have a mahogany bourbon oak. So it's kind of a nice smell that you get, like you're it reminds me of smoking a cigar, sitting outside with an old barrel, just kind of having that nice country feel to it. But
cool.
that's where we at.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
really want to see the products and would like to use them.
Yeah. Then we started having people ask us, well, hey, you're doing women's, where's your men's line? So we, as beards got more popular, as COVID was going on, people were growing out facial hair.
Sure.
And so we started going there, and we made our balms and our oils, and we were looking into personal care and self-care. And then our men's line launched. So we have the Rednecks and Radicals men line right now.
Nice.
I love the names there.
Thank you. And the Goat's Mill bar soaps are definitely a more masculine scent. So we have like the Appalachias, the Cold Creeks, and we have the mountains. We also do a coffee soap, And coffee has such great benefits to the body in pure form. So it energizes, it reduces red circles under the eyes, improves circulation. So there's a lot of benefits to it.
So where's your store? Do you have how many stores?
We have one store.
One store and then wholesale.
And then we wholesale.
Right.
So our storefront is here in New Braunfels. If you're exiting 306 to go to Buc-ee's, we're right there at the New Braunfels storage units in that shopping center. We're smack dab in the middle. We've got a cowboy and a cowgirl in bathtubs on the window, so you can't miss us. We're open every Friday from 4 to 8.
Okay.
And then the rest of the week is by appointment. With all the COVID stuff still going on and reduction of capacities, it's kind of where we're at.
Gotcha.
We are at the farmers market every Saturday. And then once a month, we're at the Fredericksburg Trader Days. That's actually this weekend. And then we're at the Green Market Days once a month as well.
I see.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
It's fun.
Cool.
We are going to start being in Goliad in March. They have a Schrader Festival going on every month down there. So we'll be there one Saturday a month as well. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah. Wow.
That's exciting.
Lots of people are kind of getting our products. Over the holidays, we were getting a lot of phone calls about shipping. So we did get a website up and running, and we are shipping as well now, too.
Oh, cool.
We aren't putting all of our products online, but we're putting like our most asked, our salt scrubs. We do hand sanitizer as well. So we're doing a carbon filtered ethanol base. So it's actually 91% alcohol, but we're using a medical grade aloe vera and essential oils to scent it. So it doesn't smell like moldy vodka.
Right.
It's still a high concentrate, but it's also going to soften your hands. And the medical grade aloe vera prevents the peeling and cracking that you get with some of the others.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. We have 10 different scents of that right now.
Right up your alley.
I know. I was thinking, it's like, yeah, just like you have to use hand sanitizer all the time, so I don't like the smelly kind of like alcohol.
I don't either.
Like really bad kind of alcohol smell. That's like, ooh.
And I don't like the gel sanitizers, so we actually developed a spray sanitizer as well. So I keep the little bottle in my pocket, and it's great for doorknobs, light switches, deliveries. Tennis shoes when kids are walking in and out. I get so grossed out by that. Little kids are dirty.
Right. Oh, yeah. They're the bowl of germs.
Yes.
They're the worst. Yeah.
Their hands are going all over their face.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice. We get to kind of share what we do with so many people, and then people will call us back, hey, I got this as a gift. Hey, I got this from a friend. And then we're not doing any advertising other than really word of mouth.
Wow.
Cool. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first thought is like that's gonna be these are perfect kind of gift items for holidays, and so that's really cool. So you have a website and people can order online as well.
Yes, they can order online to ship or pick up in store. We even are doing pre-ordering for the farmers market. So if you want to place an order, you can message us on Facebook or Instagram. Tell us what you need. We send you a Venmo or a Square link. Pay for it. We have it bagged and ready. You pull up to the farmer's market, we run it right to your car.
Right.
So you don't even have to get out in public if you don't want to.
Cool.
So cool. Do you see Maggie there at the...
I do.
Every week? Is she coming every
Maggie's Micros is actually right next to us.
Okay.
So Michael that works for her, he and I are right next to each other at the farmer's market every week.
I can easily imagine how fun that is.
It's nice. It's very nice. It's nice, the farmer's market group over the last 5, almost 6 years now, we've all been such a close family, and everyone's really supportive. And when COVID really first happened and the city was kind of shutting down what vendors could and could not be at the market, we've actually stayed the entire time during COVID because of our sanitizers and soaps were considered essential items.
Okay.
So we actually had such a huge outpouring from the community of, hey, we want to shop local, hey, we want to support yours. And I kept telling people, if I can get my hand sanitizer on your hands, you'll never want to use anything else because it's not going to hurt you the way that some of these others do.
Right. I'm super excited. Try them on.
We'll have to get online. Your opening hours are not good for us, but like
I can do online.
Yeah,
so what's the website?
So our website is at www.lsbathtreats.com.
lsbathtreats.com.
Yeah, and that's the same for our Instagram and our Facebook. You can find us under LS Bath Treats.
When we post this, I'll put that in the show notes so people
Awesome.
can just look to the show notes and kind of go right to that. I'll have a direct link. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Cool. Before we got on the podcast, we were talking about some of your
Your
fishing adventures, things like that. I think that would be cool for people to hear about that. Yeah. So we were talking
I'd like to hear more about it.
Yeah, you were talking about going fishing for tuna in particular. It's always hard to recreate the magic, but like talk to me like I hadn't already talked to you about this.
So
and
I'm trying to sell you on a tuna trip.
Yeah, like how did you get into it? How did you start? What is it like, kind of pier to water to coming back to the pier?
Okay.
Just talk us through the adventure.
So we actually have quite a few clients that work on the fishing docks. They're using our sanitizer for fishing trips, for charters, for our hand sanitizer. We have several big fishing groups that use us. I've always liked going fishing. I've been fishing since I was little. And my kids are still kind of small, but we would take them on 4 and 8 hour trips where you kind of go out into the jetties, or you kind of maybe go a little into the Gulf, but not too terribly far, and you come back. So you'd fish maybe on an 8 hour trip about 4 hours. This last year, back in, September, October, I did a big fishing trip with Dolphin Docks out of Port Aransas. And basically you get there Friday at around 4 a.m., get on the boat, and then it's 12 to 16 hours out. So you're about 130 miles out into the water. That company's amazing. They have bunks. They have a full kitchen. There's food. There's drinks. There's soda, tea, water. Every need that you have is taken care of. They have showers. So if you get all gross and bloody or yucky, then you can go take a shower. That part's kind of nice.
That's awesome.
Yes. Get covered in salt water. Sometimes you just need to wash the funk off.
Right.
But once you get out there, you leave so early because you fish for tuna at night. They put big spotlights out into the water, and then you catch the tuna. On average, they were catching around 60 to 120 pound tunas. And the fun part about it is one person is not going to bring up that big of a tuna. I showed you guys some pictures of our big tuna, and you're welcome to share those later. But people were taking turns, and it took almost 2 hours to bring that fish up. And it was like 15 to 20 minutes a person. And when that person would tire out, you'd go to the next person. Nice. And this isn't like reeling your line in. You're getting like 1 or 2 clicks, and you're just sitting there trying to keep the pole up because you don't want the tuna to get their nose down. Because if they get their nose down, they're going to pull back down into the water. Yeah, it was fun. And but on that particular trip, you could bring back, if you limit, plus with the blackfin, you're looking at 300-400 pounds of fish that you could bring back. I think I brought like 3 or 4 coolers back.
So crazy.
Of fillet. It was great. Loved it. I've been hunting since I was younger, and I grew up with a house full of brothers and my dad, and it was just kind of one of those things we'd always done. So I've gotten to share that with my kids and take them out hunting, and taught we've hung deer up from the rafters in the backyard, and
nice. I grew up with that, and I just thought that's what everyone did. But yeah,
I did too, and I'm learning.
Everybody has a deer hanging up in their garage, right?
Yeah. I remember one night we were living here in New Braunfels with my ex-husband and I, and he was from the New York area, and we had a new neighbor who just moved in right during the middle of deer season. Well, I was putting tags on, so I had slit that, and I lifted up my knife, and I didn't realize I had blood running down my arm. And these people probably think I'm butchering small animals, and I'm just... And then I had to go drag him to the backyard to hang him. Yeah. Whoops. We actually had a conversation about that a year later, and they're like, yeah, we had no idea what you were doing. Welcome to Texas.
Great first impression.
I'm sure, if you're not used to it, I would imagine that's think you're living next to a Dexter or something like that.
Serial killer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it was late because I had been out at the deer blind. I had hunted that morning and I hunted that evening. Drove back from Comfort, which is an hour and a half from here. So it was probably 9 o'clock at night, and I had spotlight on my truck trying to prepare deer to take them over to the processor or do it ourselves. I don't remember, but it was just kind of funny that I lift my arm up. Hey, didn't even think about it. Knife in hand. Hey, blood running down my arm. But I always wanted my kids not to think that meat came from HEB.
Right.
Sure.
So,
that's so important.
We have those conversations about this is this part of the cow, or this is a chicken, or this is a a pig, or we've just had those, and my son will be like, this is deer meat, or this is redfish, or this is tuna. So
I can understand people's reticence or so I was actually a vegetarian for quite a while. I'm not anymore, but I grew up eating a lot of game meat and everything, and I can understand people's reticence to be like the person who pulls the trigger or something. Like,
right.
I can get that. Like that, I understand. Maybe hard to do it. Don't feel like you can do it. I can understand that, but I've often found it really bizarre when people equate hunting with cruelty, kind of typically. Where I'm just kind of like, as they stuff that McDonald's burger into their mouth, I'm just like, sort of like, the whole this whole circle of life thing's kind of flying right over your head here. Like, life consumes life, and it is just a part of it. And I'm not saying that everybody has to eat meat or something like that, but like, it's, just even when you're talking plants, you are still extinguishing a life form, basically, and generally life is eating life, and just that kind of ignorance. I feel like human beings have moved away from the method of production so far that they sort of start to think that their frozen goods that they purchase are, I don't know, just created in the factory or something, and that's problematic for sure. But,
yeah, one of the things when we're hunting with the kids is I've always tried to teach them there are proper ways to hunt. When we want to make sure that we take our shots where animals aren't going to be wounded. We want to make sure that animals aren't going to be hurt or in pain. You want to make sure that where you shoot them puts them down quickly so they don't suffer. You're not having to track. You're not having to do those kinds of things. And granted, sometimes things happen.
Right.
But again, I tried really hard to talk to them about, being safe while you were out there, not leaving your mark on the land, no smoking, not that my kids would smoke, but anytime I was out there with anyone, no smoking, don't leave trash, don't try to, you want to leave it better than what you came with.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, we've enjoyed having you on the show.
So cool.
And,
I'm excited to really try out your products. I think it's awesome that what you're doing, and also it sounds really fun, all the names and
I really like the branding.
Smells, and
it's
branding
nice to walk into the shop and you get this beautiful smell that hits you. We just did some special scents for Valentine's Day, which is coming up. So we did our pear and honey and our bath bombs and scrubs, our honeysuckle, and then for our men we've done 2 of our bourbons in soap and in salt scrub. So that's kind of fun.
Would you like to try that?
I would.
Yeah.
Definitely try that.
You want some unicorn poop, don't you?
I want that for the kids.
My kids definitely want
that. Can you say the website again? It's going to be in the link, but that just kind of helps people if they're listening and driving.
Yes, if you're looking for us on Facebook or Instagram, it's going to be @LS Bath Treats. And then our website is www.lsbathtreats.com. If you go to Lone Star Bath Treats, our online, our Facebook, or any of our social medias, we have a link on there to order now. We try to post on our social medias promos we have going on. We do have a calendar of events so you can see where we're going to be. So if you are out of town, we travel with the Peddler Show as well, so we're all over the state, which is kind of fun.
Cool. All right, Mandy, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yes.